U.S. history teacher, one of the founders of nukefree.org, and a tireless speaker on the dangers of nuclear power. Please welcome Harvey Wasserman.
Thank you, peace walkers. I bring you two pieces of good news. First of all, my daughter Abby is here with her husband-to-be. They're going to be married in 2 weeks. And I'm here to protect their children, my grandchildren, and they're here too. That's Abby and Aki. Thank you very much for welcoming them and giving them a big send-off. The other piece of good news, and I know you haven't heard this for 40 years, we are winning. We are about to win. Indian Point is about to shut down. We have a huge, and I say this as someone who's been fighting this technology since 1973, we are about to win definitively for a couple of reasons. First of all, after all these years, wind, solar, tidal, geothermal, oceanothermal, the thing I call solar-topian energy is now cheaper than nuclear power can ever hope to be. There will never be another nuclear plant built in this country, and we are going to shut down all these nukes, starting probably with Vermont Yankee within a couple weeks. Many of you have been following Vermont Yankee. There's a contractual agreement between Entergy and the state of Vermont. It's going to court. I think we'll win. I think Vermont Yankee will be shut within a very short period of time. It is a huge deal. Immediately after Vermont Yankee will come Indian Point. We are very, very close. And when we shut these reactors, all the other ones are going to follow. Europe and the United States are at the brink of the end of the atomic age, of the atomic mistake. The peaceful atom is the most expensive technological failure in human history. And you here, we've been watching this a hell of a long time, but we are really on the brink of shutting these reactors. Now is the time, if you've been working, double it, triple it, quadruple it, because this is the time where we can win. We have the state government on our side. We have the law on our side. Rancho Seco is shut. We have numerous reactors around the country we have shut. We've had a period where we haven't shut any, but now we break the dam. Once we start shutting these reactors, once Vermont Yankee goes down, once Indian Point goes down, Davis-Besse will go down, Crystal River will go down, Oyster Creek will go down, San Onofre will not reopen. We have the power now. We have never been closer. Because renewables have come, there is absolutely no economic justification for building a new nuclear plant or for continuing to operate these reactors. We finally, what's good for the environment is ultimately good for the economy. Shutting Indian Point will be a great economic boon to the state of New York. We can make that case. We know about the dangers. We know this is a Fukushima clone. We know that it's a year and the accident at Fukushima is still going on. They still don't have that place under control. They will never get it under control. And the same would happen here. We know all that. But we now have time on our side after 40 years with great people like Connie and so many others. We are winning. Please stick with it. Now, I'm going to have a radio show at 2 o'clock on Tuesday on Gary's network. I want to invite people to come and talk and call in to the progressiveradionetwork.com at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. I'm going to have some people from here. But the bottom line is this. The economy is on our side now. We understand that the politicians, some of them, the key ones, are on our side now. This plant is doomed to a very quick shutdown if we keep on it. We've never been able to say that before. We are probably within months of shutting down this plant if we keep the focus going on it. So now more than ever, please join us in. It's going to be so gratifying and so much fun. And we are about to enter the age of solar-topia, and you are the reason why. Thank you very much, and no nukes.
We're going to move into the vigil part of today's events. I'm going to bring up Dar Williams, singer-songwriter, and now one of the leaders in the effort to close down Indian Point. She's going to talk to us about the cranes. And here is a bag of cranes made by the students at my school in support of your effort and our effort.
Mark, that's very helpful. I think we're going to, this is actually one of our peace walkers, Roberto Mueller, is here, and I wanted him to read the statement of how... Right here. Oh, good, come with, grab that piece of paper. We're clearing a space over here with a blanket for offerings and also a place to hang a string of cranes if you made a string of cranes. And I think this is just a quiet time to either grab a crane that you made or that maybe somebody else made that you want to put up on the blanket or stand back, and it's a thoughtful time. But I'm going to let Roberto, it's going to be over here in this corner behind me, across the street from the entry gate. And as Christian was saying, it's an offering in the direction of Indian Point for all sorts of things. But this was, Roberto's going to read the statement of what we were thinking of when we made what we hoped will be 1,000 cranes. Roberto Mueller, here.
1,000 cranes at Indian Point. We asked everyone to make 1,000 origami cranes to string together at this site. In Japanese lore, if you made 1,000 cranes, you would be granted a wish, which was traditionally seen, by a crane, which was traditionally seen as a magical creature. Often, this wish was for long life and recovery from illness. In the modern age, the Japanese also associate 1,000 cranes with the recovery from radiation poisoning at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The 1,000 cranes we make for March 11th represent our best wishes for the recovery of Fukushima, its adults and children, its lands and seas, and for all of Japan. Furthermore, we wish for the future health of our communities, of our children who, along with children all over the planet, will inherit our nuclear legacy. We look forward to working together for a safer and healthier world. Thank you.
Opening up their dining room for all of us to make these cranes. And if we can open up a space right here, right in front of me, if we can part the seas to make space so that we see, go over to the side a little bit and maybe even line up if everybody can kind of go, where I'm standing, I believe, is where they're going to strew the blanket. So if everybody can kind of fan off to the side this way and this way, where's that blanket?
In the lies. But if you want to know the truth, you've got to stand against that. And how do you stand against it? It does no good for us to be aware of Indian Point and then go eat a McDonald's and drink a Coca-Cola and buy clothes made in Bangladesh at slave labor at 14 cents an hour, or to use American Express or their credit cards to buy things that we don't need and pay for money that we don't have. And then to go shop at Walmart, where your jobs at one time used to be, and they were outsourced. Or if you're highly educated and very skilled, now insourcing 8.2 million jobs from India to take the place of you at half the price. So a consciousness raising here today, I hope is a conscious reasoning about everything in life. But never expect the New York Times or Fox or anyone else to tell you the real truth. Go to the alternative sources of information. The internet they do not yet own. The internet is the power to educate us. It is the power to free us from that dominant single source of truth. All right? So I thank you all for coming. We look forward to having all the speakers. And I just want you to know that for all of you in my audience, I appreciate you taking the time to be here. For those of you who are not in the audience, tune in to Progressive Radio Network, because we have Harvey Wasserman. We have dozens of the best minds in America who won't fit anywhere else on the left or right because they're not willing to compromise on truth any longer. So we're not limited in our choices. Thank you all.
Gary Shaw, if you can bring the sheets that you have up, please do that, Gary Shaw.
Pile of stuff.
We have a very special guest from Japan, and Professor Akira Murakami of Akita University in Tohoku region of Japan is going to introduce our special guest.
This is Sabro. This is Sabro from Fukushima nuclear power plant. So I am a worker in it. So hello and good afternoon, every sisters and brothers. So 私は1年前事故が起きた時に東京にいて強い揺れを感じました。テレビや爆発のニュースを伝えていました。放射線を怖がった人々は家に閉じこもっていました。私は25年前から人権活動やさまざまな市民運動に関わっていました。大変な状況で情報は限られていました。友人と私はこの大変な状況を何とかしなければならないと思い、1週間後に東京電力の本社の前で抗議行動を始めました。最初はたったの3人でした。しかし30分、1時間、2時間、そのような時間が経つうちにユーストリームの中継を見ていた人々がどんどん集まってきて、最終的には30人ぐらいの人々がその、行動に、どんどん参加してきてくれました。
1 year ago, I was in Tokyo with my wife. We felt the success of big shakes television was carrying the news about an explosion. There was nobody in the streets. People were afraid of radiation. I have worked as a human rights activist for 25 years. It was a very stressful situation. I knew that we were not getting full information. My friends and I decided that something had to be done. 1 week later, I organized a demonstration at TEPCO, the company that runs the nuclear power plant. There were only 3 of us at first. People heard about us on YouTube and joined us on the same day. There were 30 of us at the end of the day. 1 month later, this grew into 20,000 people, and it continues to grow.
Thank you, everyone. Can everyone hear me in the back? Yeah, good. Okay, I'll speak as loud as I can. Just shout out if you can't hear me. I just want to start out by saying it's a tough act to follow when Gary Null speaks right before you. But let's give him another quick round of applause. He really gets the crowd going. I'm going to start out my comments, and I'm going to be brief because we have a lot of other talented people who speak about this issue. But Gary raises a good point about where we get our information. I absolutely support what he says about going to Progressive Radio Network, looking at independent sources of media, and I also want to give a plug to going to look at the Indian Point Safe Energy Coalition website, going to Clearwater's website, going to Riverkeepers. It's a shameless plug, but we have a lot of good information on our websites that we've developed. We have experts working for us that can really help inform this issue. I encourage you all to take a look at them and inform yourself.
And how do I get in touch? Both be together.
We started this to bear witness to Fukushima and this terrible tragedy that happened a year ago. And it should never have happened. We're not talking about a hurricane. Here we're not talking about something that could not have been prevented. Fukushima in Japan, they knew that they could have a worst-case scenario earthquake and a worst-case scenario tsunami, and they did not prepare for it. And I think when you look at a tragedy like this, and I know, to make it personal for a moment, if you look at your own lives and you have something terrible happen, I think it's human nature to reflect on that and to think, what can I learn from this? What lesson can I take away from this so something like this doesn't happen again? I can be prepared for it. And so when you think about the lessons of Fukushima and what we should take away from this after a year, and you look at what we're faced with here in our backyard with Indian Point, I think the lesson is clear. And the main point here is, if anyone tells you that a Fukushima-type accident cannot happen here, they're either uninformed or they're not telling you the truth. Because you can have a nuclear accident here, and you can have an accident that leads to a terrible meltdown and a release of radiation. And for that reason alone, we need to shut Indian Point, and Riverkeeper's been working for many, many years to do just that. And we're in the final stages of getting ready for a federal hearing on the plant's relicensing. That will that we're confident that we can at the least slow this process down, and at best, I think with New York State behind us, we can shut this plant down.
to give you three main reasons to close down Indian Point. One is that you may remember that if the planes that hit the World Trade Center had gone down 60 seconds sooner, they could have displaced all of the water in the fuel pools of Indian Point, causing a meltdown. That didn't happen, but it could happen. Nothing has happened in the last 10 years to strengthen or fortify those unprotected fuel pools. The other is that Indian
that this place had to be closed. For all the problems that are the shopping list, they've increased every year. Every year there have been more problems, more unresolvable issues at Indian Point, and it makes it even more urgent that the plants be closed. Over the years there have been the high points. The high points being, unfortunately, bad occasions. The high point in organizing was 3 Mile Island. 3 Mile Island precipitated that incredibly large demonstration that Westpac organized in Peekskill, thousands of people, and then a couple of hundred of us who came up to the plant gate, and you could get right up to the plant gate at that point, and we had a die-in. We trained people for weeks and weeks and weeks to die in and represent those people who were killed, and we knew they were killed at 3 Mile Island. And a lot of us were arrested. We were in the slammer for almost 2 weeks, and in slammer we were making paper cranes. And the guards, the women guards, brought us newspaper so that we were able to make 1,000 cranes. So that is the kind of energy that has sustained us over the years.
Please give a warm welcome to our peace walkers. They're joining us right now. We're going to give just a minute as the peace walkers come and join our group, and then we're going to continue with the program. We just have a few more speakers. Welcome, peace walkers, welcome, thank you, come join us.
Here for this